The global version of the Xiaomi 17 Ultra is finally here, and where others are doing the unboxing and first impressions videos, I have my version here, it's the Chinese version, for more than a month already. And in this long-term review I will tell you if this device is worth it to be called Camera King of 2026, or if you should wait for another one. So let's get started. Design-wise, the new 17 Ultra makes a statement, a bold statement with very straight edges all over the place, a new volume, not even rocker, just separate buttons, a very small power button, and a very slick and chic design that we have here, with the camera bump not sticking out too much, even though we still have a 1-inch type sensor, but the whole camera island has been moved up a little bit, so if you hold it in your hands it is not disturbing so much, especially when you compare it with the predecessor. This is now the 14 Ultra here. You see how much it moved upwards and the footprint became smaller. You see it here, maybe side by side. Especially this is something that is noticeable between those two, that this camera bump feels less sticking out than this one here. There are a few reasons why I would call this device camera smartphone of the year. One of those is this gorgeous, almost 7-inch like display, 6.9-inch display, with this fast fingerprint reader and very secure 2D face unlock that is super quick, like we know it from Xiaomi devices. We have a good operating system finally here in HyperOS 3.0. Finally, Xiaomi is bringing you the latest and greatest in terms of smooth, capable and reliable operating system without too much bugs, without any ads, and pretty reliable. And this is where usually people say, hey, are you sure that this is a reliable OS? I have predecessors and they were buggy as hell. Nope. This one here is a reliable operating system. Thanks to the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, this device runs very fluid, very fast, has enough RAM, has enough storage so that you can go and take photos, videos, but also use it for phone calls, for gaming if you need to, or for other intensive tasks like what I really like to do here on this one is video editing, because it is so blazing fast, and all the videos that I record with this I can also edit on this phone. Like this review here has been edited on this phone, even though I have the 14 Ultra, I have the 15 Pro. It's just so much quicker editing the video here in CapCut than on the 15 Pro or the 14 Ultra. Like before, we have a very iOS stylish kind of design, and even now it has this new stack kind of task switcher, which is super fluid, but is also reminding me a lot of iOS. So they're taking some inspiration from iOS for sure, and this new HyperOS 3 also features this new dynamic island, hyper island, that is working basically the same way. It's super fluid and functional, so I don't have anything against that, and everyone else is doing it anyway. So this is working fine, and it's a nice effect. Come on, this is why they're all doing this, because it's a nice effect. But finally, what we have here as well is the ability, for example, if I have a photo like this, to drag out the photo, and especially like in the multitasking view. I have another one here. And then I have the ability to just drag one photo out and drag it in. This was an issue that we had not been having before, but this is now possible here, so I can just drag files and folders around without any issues. That was something that was missing in the past and has now been added, and this makes it so much quicker for me especially. Oops, I almost bumped the camera, to transfer over files and folders to my external SSD, which makes it super easy then to edit my files or review my files on the computer, because it's just file transfers via USB Type-C 3.2 is just still faster than using Wi-Fi here to transfer all the files over to your computer, for sure. So I'm talking a lot about the phone and how you can use it as an everyday to-day device, and the software, and I try to convince you that the software is really good because I didn't have any hiccups or issues here. But keep in mind that I have the Chinese version here, so there are slight changes to the global version. So instead of the Google Discover feed, I have here now the Chinese kind of feed here with some widgets and so on. And the same goes for some notifications. I had to do some digging, and there are some videos out. If you have a Chinese Xiaomi phone with HyperOS 3, by the way, you can check out the video where I describe how to fix the notifications for global applications. So I had to do some digging. It's not 100% perfect yet, but it's 99% there, where I would say I can live with it every day today. On the global version, you won't have this issue. The global apps run fine, and the only big difference is, like, if you want a hassle-free experience, the best software experience for global users, get the global version, but then you have to be sure you're paying a little bit extra on top of this. The Chinese version is a bit cheaper here, and you get almost all the top new features as well. The only thing is, like, the little bit, like the 0.1% that's lacking to get you to a global version are a few things. Android Auto is missing, for example. The Google Maps and the history is not possible there, and Android Wear and Wear OS watches are not able to connect to your Chinese version here. Like I said, notifications a little bit tricky here. You have to be aware that you have to do some ADB commands with your laptop or computer onto this device and enable some developer options to be getting those notifications. Otherwise you have notifications delay, which is very cumbersome if you have this. So keep that in mind. But otherwise I'm fine with the software here right now. I don't want to convince you that this is like the best software around there, but it's amongst the top, and it's definitely better than the reputation of Xiaomi's HyperOS from the past. And what is important as well is not only the software but also the hardware here, the battery life. And we have a large battery. Yes, granted, I have a bit of a larger battery here in my Chinese version. So you will see that this battery here is 6,800 milliamp hours, and I believe it will be a little bit less than 6,800 milliamp hours. But believe me or not, Xiaomi finally fixed the big battery drainage that they had on the Ultra models. So if I compare it, for example, with the other one that I had here, the 14 Ultra, this one here easily can outlast the 14 Ultra almost double the amount of time, which is very impressive in my opinion. This is the new silicon carbon battery technology that they're using there, which makes it not only higher capacity with almost the same footprint, but also lower power consumption in general. Less heat, especially, also a Xiaomi issue that we were plagued in by the past, is now no issue anymore because we have a very large vapor chamber there, and I think the software is optimized so much so well that it won't be an issue for you even if you shoot longer videos and so on. The display is nice and bright. I really like the display here, 6.9 inch. Even though the resolution seems to be a bit smaller, I did another video because they're using a new display technology which makes the RGB pixels aligned a bit differently, that should compensate for the slightly lower resolution here and give you something that perceived with the 14 Ultra that had the higher resolution here, same kind of display resolution from the eyes. So I don't see any pixels or anything like this. This display has the advantage of being brighter, so I am taking this slightly lower resolution, at least for this year. Next year, Xiaomi, maybe you can bump the resolution up to the same as here, but using the newer display tech and still keeping up the very bright display. That would be very, very helpful, because then the resolution really goes up and it will beat the 14 Ultra, the 15 Ultra and all the other Ultras that came before. So yes, this is very nice, but yeah, battery life is what I'm really impressed by this one. It is really, really good. It is not in the same categories of 7,000 milliamp hour batteries from the other manufacturers, Oppo, Vivo and so on, but it is coming into a territory where I would say this is flagship-like. This is definitely a very solid battery life. 1 day for sure, and I can get even 2 days out of battery life here for this one. And yes, some people might have seen my SIM card is not, it's inserted, but I don't have any data here or reception. This is nothing an issue with this device here in my basement studio. It's just that the testing SIM card that I had here was limited to exactly 1 month, and I think it ran out yesterday or the day before yesterday. So they just cut off my reception, and that's it, the end of the day. But nevertheless, I tried it out. Reception for phone calls, if you want to use a smartphone still for phone calls, no issues. And also data usage, no issues. 5G, fastest performance ever. And for those people who like to import this to Europe as well, especially to Germany where I tested it, it is running fine 5G. I didn't have any issues at all. I don't even know if they have some bands missing here that are important for Germany. I simply didn't notice it when I was using the device. I had always fast internet, no issues. And even I have to say, the reception was so good that other phones failed. And this one here on the same network worked fine, could get more data out of this than on some other phones. So this is a positive here for sure for the Xiaomi 17 Ultra. Let's finally talk about the cameras, the main feature of this device. Some might even say, and I can agree, this is more of a Leica powered camera with smartphone functionality than a smartphone with a great camera. So yes, this camera is just simply fantastic. We have a 1-inch type main sensor, a custom 1-inch type main sensor with low-fick technology, which means like the bucket for capturing super bright highlights and super dark shadows is wider than ever, and you have a very wide high dynamic range. You especially will notice that when you take some nice shots outside in the dark and there's a very bright billboard that you want to photograph, and it will manage to expose this nicely without overexposure. Even if your eyes have sometimes issues like exposing this correctly there, this one won't have this issue, especially with the 1-inch type sensor. 1-inch type sensor also allows us to give us very great background blur. I really like that, even though I'm still a bit sad that the variable aperture is gone from the main camera sensor. It is still offering a very good quality for value. And then of course we have this super spooky and crazy, almost I didn't even think that this is possible, Sony inspired variable zoom. Variable zoom, just like with a DSLM, you can zoom in and out, and elements are moving inside of the periscope to do this zoom in effect. This is just like with the Sony's first attempt, not a great kind of thing. So 3.2 to 4.3 is the zoom range here, which is equaling to 75 to 100 millimeters for camera photographic enthusiasts that can maybe understand this a little bit better. It's not a huge deal there, but because the sensor is so large, you can even like crop in 2 times to this 4.3x zoom, and then you get 8.6x zoom. And this is like also a special button in the camera user interface because it is highly optimized, and even at 10x you get very good quality photos and videos that are almost as if you have an optical kind of zoom. And this is very impressive for this device, and I will show you some camera samples right now that really blew my mind. After shooting over 2000 frames with the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, one thing becomes crystal clear: Xiaomi is moving away from the smartphone look. While other manufacturers are doubling down on aggressive AI, HDR and extreme edge sharpening, the 17 Ultra takes a different path. Look at those portraits. There's a beautiful natural softness there. It's not blurry, it's realistic. The skin textures aren't scrubbed away by noise or noise reduction.
and the eyes aren't artificially over sharpened, especially also the eyebrows redrawn. It feels like a dedicated camera prioritizing a gentle roll-off and organic details over clinical digital perfection. The 135mm focal length is where this phone truly shines for portraits. Even in indoor lighting, the f2.96 aperture provides a genuine optical depth that AI simulated bokeh just can't match. Notice the lack of halos around the hair. The processing here is incredibly light touch. It trusts the sensor and the glass to do the heavy lifting, resulting in a look that is grounded in reality. And when the sun goes down, the Ultra maintains the same philosophy. In the street shot, you can see how it handles the blue and gold highlights. It doesn't try to turn night into day. Instead, it preserves the atmosphere. Even in challenging selfies at ISO 2500, the image remains clear but textured. It's impressive how the 17 Ultra manages to keep the noise under control without turning the subject into a wax figure. You get the mood of the night exactly how you remember it. I took the phone to the Carnival Parade to test the street capabilities, moving subjects, vibrant colors, and a bit of chaotic environments. This is where the shutter speed and autofocus needs to be flawless. And as you see here, it really is. The color science is vibrant, but never neon. Whether it's the rich reds of a costume or the brickwork of historic buildings, the white balance stays consistent. It captures the energy of the moment without AI trying to overanalyze the scene, over-sharpen faces, or redrawn those faces. And especially with the tele lens, you get a nice, natural background blur. It's not fake background, it is natural background blur. Whether you're punching in for a 100mm detail shot or capturing a candid moment on the streets, the consistency across all lenses is what makes this a true Ultra device. It's a tool for people who actually like photography, not just for people who like filters or just take a snap. It's refreshing to use a phone that doesn't try to outsmart the photographer. It just gives you a clean, high-quality canvas and lets the moment speak for itself.
Another cool feature, and I'm recording with the front-facing camera of the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, that I didn't talk about, is the newly upgraded front-facing camera, because this front-facing camera now has the ability for autofocus. So I can show you the camera bump of the 14 Ultra here without any issues, or other little things like my microphone system, and it will be able to hopefully focus on this one here. And this is a cool game changer, especially for creators. I really like to use this. Autofocus on the front-facing camera is becoming the norm now for super flagship devices. And I really dig into this because it's really a cool feature. Another cool, very cool feature is the ability to show you what's outside of my little basement apartment without stopping the video and flipping over the camera and doing this. I can just hit a button here. And now we're on the back-facing cameras. This is a feature that I really like. Samsung was doing this for ages. Huawei and Honor, for some reason, only put it in their mid-range devices that were vlogging-centric. And now Xiaomi put it in their super flagship device, which is super helpful for vloggers who want to like switch, show their face and show them what they are seeing without like stopping the recording and then have later to do all the editing, which is a bit of cumbersome for sure. And I really like this feature, really dig it. And I really praise Xiaomi also putting it into their new to their old devices as well. Like the 15 Pro got it via camera update, which is super cool, and the 17 probably also has it. we want to do a little zoom test just to show you the zoom. This is 3.2x zoom here. You can see how stable it is. Like I'm holding it with one hand, how super stable it is. And yeah, we can see my daughter's little toys there. This is 8.6 times zoom now. Look how crispy clean it looks like. And we can even maybe, let's go to 3.2x zoom. Maybe let's try to you can see how large the sensor is, the background blur that you get off here. Like, yes, I have to probably, there's rust on it, I have to probably put some paint on it. Anyway, we can, of course, also zoom in on other things, like the toys there in the background. You can see foreground blur as well, 8.6 times. Go a bit further, 15x here. You can see even the sand, little corns of sand. I guess go 30x here. This is impressive as a device for a smartphone to be able to do such kind of thing. Let's go back to 3.2x, there you can see where I come from, and now back to 1x. And ultra wide angle, this is where I am from. Ultra wide angle, actually, you can see has some lens flare issues there. I don't know what's going on there. It is the weakest sensor. I think they are skimping out a little bit on they forgot to upgrade the ultra wide angle. I don't really know what's going on here, because this is the one that I really want to see an upgrade for the next generation, because it needs it. But not only camera is good, I think for the first time I was also surprised a little bit about the dual stereo speakers that we have here. I'm using now the Oppo Find X8 Ultra and the Oppo Enco X2 for binaural recording, so you can hear exactly how I hear it with my own ears on both sides, how it will sound like. So let's put the volume up. It's getting pretty loud, and the bass is there, the highs are there, it's crystal clear. I like it. Not the loudest, but very, very good speakers. All in all, the Xiaomi 17 Ultra is the first Xiaomi device in years that I really, really like and can fully 100% recommend to you. If it would come in this very large package together with the power plug, this would be awesome, but I think only my Chinese version comes in this very large kind of package together with the power plug. So yes, this device here is fully recommendable. The only thing where I cannot put my hand into the fire for you is the battery life, because I have the Chinese version 6,800 milliampere hours. I don't know about the global version. I think the battery will be slightly lower there, and we know from last year that it can be a real downside if you have a lower battery capacity. The 15 Ultra, in comparison, global version versus Chinese version, was losing completely with the global version, and its battery life, it was abysmal there. But here the battery life so far is fine, and I think they have the right tech on place, on site, to have good battery life. Let's hope that the global version also has a good battery inside. Otherwise, fully recommended the Xiaomi 17 Ultra. This is a super flagship, one of the best super flagships that you can get this year. Portrait king for sure. Video is good, but I think they need to work a little bit on it still. Battery life is good, CPU is fire, operating system is okay. If you know Xiaomi devices, you know what you get. You're not expecting a Google Pixel experience, you're getting more of an iOS inspired experience. That does not need to be bad, especially if you make it right, make it good, make it the animations fluid, and make everything very smooth. And yeah, it is a lot of fun using this device, especially when it comes to photography and the stylish Leica-like images that you can get out of it. That's it for my long-term review of the Xiaomi 17 Ultra. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have some questions, put them down below. Until the next time, bye.